Going to study the first topic of human anatomy and physiology first, which is included in the syllabus of the B form first sem. So that's introduction to human anatomy and physiology. So in this introduction to human anatomy and physiology, we will be studying about what anatomy is, what physiology is, what are the various subdivisions of anatomy and physiology, what is the scope of anatomy and physiology, means why we will be studying the anatomy and physiology. So we will start with the basic terms. That is, the first is what anatomy is. So we will start with the anatomy. So anatomy, basically it is made up of two words. One is ana, which means up, and second one is tomy, which means the process of cutting, or I can say cutting. So anatomy, ana means up, and tomy, which means cutting. So we can say that it is the science of body structure and the relationship among them. So, or we can say it is the study of structure of body, study of structure of body. So body structure, if we are studying about the structure of the body, that will be called as anatomy. Okay, for example, if I will take the example of the human heart. So anatomy of the heart means we are studying about the various structures which are present in the heart. For example, heart is having four compartments. Then there are, for example, this one is left ventricle, this one is right ventricle, this one is left atrium, this one is right atrium. So then there will be various layers of the heart, for example, pericardium, myocardium, endocardium. Then there will be different nodes present in the heart, for example, SA node, AV node. Okay, and then there will be different valves which are present in the heart, like bicuspid, tricuspid valve. So that we will be calling it as human anatomy. So anatomy, in short, is the study of structure of human body. Okay, or study of body structures, we call that as anatomy. Okay, so body structure, it includes, like for example, it includes the size of the body, it includes the color of the body, it includes the shape of the body, and it includes the composition of body as well. So these things we will be studying in the anatomy. Okay, like size, mainly the size, color, shape, composition. Okay, so these all things we will be studying in the anatomy. Okay, so while studying the human anatomy, the study of individual parts along with their relations, that's also studied. Okay, and in short, we can say that study of structure and interactions of the organ systems within the body, that will be called as anatomy. Okay, then there are various subdivisions of the anatomy. Subdivisions. So different subdivisions of anatomy are there. First, I will start with the gross anatomy. So what is gross anatomy? We will be starting with the gross anatomy. Okay, so gross anatomy means the study of body structures which are visible to the naked eye. Visible to naked eye. So study of those structures which are visible to the naked eye, that is called as gross anatomy. So if you are studying the structures which are visible to the naked eye, for example, the study of ear, that will be called as gross anatomy. So those structures which are visible to the naked eye, we will be studying them in the gross anatomy. Okay, so we will be starting with the second one, which is called as microscopic anatomy. Microscopic anatomy. So what will be the microscopic anatomy? The name suggests microscopic. Okay, so it involves using modern microscopes. We study the structures using modern microscopes to examine the surface of structures. For example, examination of cells, which is called as cytology. That means the examination of the cells, and the examination of the tissues, which is called as the histology. Cytology means the examination of the cells, and histology means the examination of the tissues. So we can study the structure of cells and the structure of tissues under modern microscopes, under compound microscopes. So that type of anatomy, we will be calling it as microscopic anatomy. Okay, now we have the third one. Okay. Third one is developmental anatomy. So what developmental anatomy is? Developmental anatomy means we will be studying the growth and development of human body. Okay, so here we will study the growth and development of human body. Growth and development of human body. So that we will be calling it as developmental anatomy. Now next is pathological anatomy. These are the various subdivisions. Okay, pathological anatomy. Pathological anatomy. So in pathological anatomy, what we will be studying, it involves the examination and study of diseased body parts. So diseased body parts. So if you are studying the diseased body parts or a whole affected body part, that we will be calling it as pathological anatomy. Okay, next subdivision, number 5th, that is systemic anatomy. Systemic anatomy. Systemic anatomy means it involves the study of body systems. So here we will be studying body systems. So if we are studying the body systems, that we will be calling it as systemic anatomy. Okay, along with these terms, there are a lot more terms in this. So along with these terms, there are some other terms which are important also. So we will be discussing those terms here. For example, palpation is one term which is most commonly used. Palpation. So what is palpation? Palpation means in this study you can study the body part by feeling it with your hands. For example, pulse or swollen body parts. Swollen body parts. Those body parts which have swollen by some reason. So that is called as palpation. So palpation means you can study the body part by feeling it with your hands. So pulse you can feel with your hand, swollen body parts you can feel with your hands. So that is called as palpation. So that is involved in the that is included in the anatomy. Okay. Now second term with this is auscultation. Auscultation. So that's one more term which is included in the anatomy. So auscultation means listening to the natural sounds of the body. Listening to natural sounds. Natural sounds of human body. That's called as auscultation. For example, heartbeats. We can listen the heartbeats. Heartbeats or breath sounds or breathing sounds. Okay, or abnormal sounds in the heart that coincides with the heartbeat. Okay, so those all things we can study in the auscultation. Another term which is used in the anatomy is percussion. Percussion. This is another term which is used in the anatomy. Percussion, it means this is the study of a physical examination, and that takes place by tapping hands. For example, you are tapping hands by tapping the fingers or by tapping the instruments on the body parts. For example, if you are visiting a doctor, he will be tapping something on your feet, he will be tapping something on your knees. So that is called as percussion. So that is a term which is related to the anatomy. Okay, so small instruments for noticing the echo sounds that are widely using in percussion to know that is used to know the abnormal ear or fluid pockets, whether they are present or whether they are absent. And normally it is used to check the presence or absence of fluid in certain body parts. Okay, mainly presence or absence of fluids in certain body parts. That is called as percussion. So that is the general brief introduction about the first part, that was anatomy. Now we have the second part which we will be studying in this, that is physiology. So that was we were having the topic. Our topic was introduction to human anatomy and physiology. So now we will go to the second part, that is human physiology. Okay. So it also consists of, it is made up of two terms. One is physio, and physio means nature. Okay. And second one, logy, that means study. physiology. Okay, so we can call it as science of the body function. So in anatomy we study about the study of human structure. So in physiology we will be studying about the body function. So that is the difference between the human anatomy and physiology. So human physiology, it's, we can call it as a biomedical science which deals with normal functioning of various organs in human body, or we can call it as the study of the body functions. Okay, so there is a study of individual body part functions, like how their actions affect the whole body, how their functions are integrated to produce like coordinated functions in the whole body. Shortly I can say that it is the study of coordinated functions of body. Okay, so study of coordinated functions of body, coordinated functions of body. Okay, so study of coordinating functions of body parts to synchronize, for example, all the activities of the human body. For example, if I will take the example of the liver cells, it includes their function of cells, liver cells, hepatocytes, which we call as hepatocytes. Okay, for example, the physiology of the liver cells, it includes their functions of the cells, how they do it, how they do their function, and what is their relation to the functions of the body. Okay, that we will call it as physiology. So physiology can be further divided into some subdivisions, like human physiology, where we study functioning of human body parts. Then, for example, molecular cellular physiology, molecular or cellular physiology, it is a study which is based upon the organization level. Same is like the respiratory physiology, where we will be studying the functions of the respiratory system. Okay, so that is human physiology. And there can be physiology of the heart, physiology of the lungs, physiology of various body structures. So in physiology, in short, means we will be studying about the science of the body function, means how the body parts work. That will be called as human physiology. So how the body parts work. Okay, so now if we will go to the scope of the anatomy, scope of the physiology, in brief I can say that, for example, scope of anatomy. So this is anatomy. What will be the scope of the anatomy? For example, first will be pathological anatomy. Pathological anatomy. Same, one more scope is embryology, where we are studying about the embryo. Here we are studying about the diseased conditions or diseased structures. Same, developmental biology. Developmental biology, where we are studying about the developmental things. Then cell biology, where we will be studying about the cell. Systemic anatomy. Systemic anatomy. Okay, regional anatomy. Regional anatomy means where we will be studying about the specific region in the human body. Okay, and for example, one more is there, surface anatomy. And others are, for example, radiographic anatomy, where we are using radiations to study the structure. Radiographic anatomy, or we call it as imaging anatomy also. Radiographic anatomy or imaging anatomy. Imaging anatomy. Okay, so that is the scope of anatomy. Same, we can study about the scope of the physiology also. So what will be the scope of the human physiology? So physiology, like for example, neurophysiology. Neurophysiology means where we will be studying about the function of the nervous system. Okay, endocrinology. Endocrinology, study of the endocrine system. Then cardiovascular physiology, or I can say CVS physiology. Cardiovascular physiology, where we will be studying about the functioning of the heart, functioning of the blood vessels. Immunology, where we will be studying about the functions of the immune system. And another scope is, for example, pathophysiology, pathophysiology, where we will be studying about the diseases, and renal physiology and much more. Renal physiology and much more. Okay, so this means we have studied about the human anatomy, human physiology. What is the human anatomy? What is human physiology? What is the scope of the human anatomy? What is the scope of the human physiology? Okay, so these terms till now we have studied about these things. Now, if I will go to the second one, that is the levels of the structural organization. That is the second topic, which is levels of the structural organization. Levels of structural organization. So if I will correlate this levels of the structural organization, if you will go to the English grammar, you will be starting with different things like first letters, then you combine the letters, they become words, then you combine the words, they become sentence, then you combine the sentences, they become a paragraph, then you combine the paragraphs, they become a chapter, then you combine the chapters and it becomes a book. So same, there will be different levels in the human body. So there are main 6 levels of our organization in the human body. So those 6 levels are, for example, first one is chemical level, second one is cellular level, then there is tissue level, then there is organ level, then there is, after organ level there will be organ system level, then there will be organism level. So chemical levels, there will be different atoms which will be combined together. For example, oxygen atom plus oxygen atom, it combines together, it forms oxygen molecule. Then we will go to the cellular level. Cell is the basic structural functional unit of the living organisms are human beings. So this is for example, this is the structure of the cell. Okay, then different cells, they will combine, they will form tissues. For example, this is the example of the tissue. For example, there are different cells which are present in these tissues. Then these tissues together will form an organ. For example, stomach is formed, then a different systems will be formed, then a whole organism will be formed. Okay, so it will start with the chemical level. So chemical level, that is the basic level. Then there is a cellular level. Cells combine together to form the tissue. Tissues combine together to form the organ. Organs combine together to form the system. And different systems combine together to form the whole organism. So cells, there are different cells present in the human body, RBCs, WBCs, hepatocytes, different cells which are present in the human body. Then different cells, they form the tissues like epithelial tissue, nervous tissue, muscular tissue, okay, connective tissue. These are the different tissues which are present in the human body. Then these tissues combine to form organs. Examples of the organs are like, for example, heart is there, lungs are there. Okay, then heart, lungs are there, liver is there, brain is there. These are different organs. Then all these organs will combine together and they will form different systems. For example, in digestive system, there is mouth, there is esophagus, there is small intestine, large intestine, there is stomach. So these combine to form system. Then different systems will combine together. For example, respiratory system, cardiovascular system, nervous system. So these systems, all those systems will combine together and they will form the organism. So these are the different levels of the structural organization. Then one more thing which is included in this is basic life processes. Basic life processes. Okay, so different life processes which are important, which are necessary for the growth, which are necessary for the for living. So these are, first one is metabolism. So metabolism is an important and basic life process. Okay, so metabolism, this means sum total of all the chemical processes which occur in the human body. Okay, so chemical processes which occur in the human body, that is called as metabolism. Now metabolism can be either it can be catabolism, either it can be anabolism. So catabolism, and second one is anabolism. Catabolism means breaking down of complex chemical substance into smaller ones. For example, I will give the example of the catabolism. For example, you have a protein. If this protein breaks down, for example, AA plus AA plus AA. So proteins are made up of amino acids. These are the monomeric units. So this protein, it was a complex molecule, complex chemical substance. It has been broken down into the small monomeric units. These are the amino acids. So this process is called as catabolism. Okay. Now anabolism means building up. So this one is building up, and this one is catabolism, is breaking. So breaking and making. So breaking, we call it as catabolism. For example, protein, I told you, it will be broken down into the amino acids. So this is called as the catabolism. Whereas in case of the anabolism, it is just the reverse of the catabolism. So these amino acids, these will combine together and they will form a protein. So this is called as anabolism. So that is the difference between the catabolism and the anabolism. So catabolism means catabolism means breaking down of the complex chemical substance. This was the complex chemical substance into the smaller ones. These are the smaller units. While as anabolism means building up. So different small monomeric units, they combine together and they form a large unit, which is protein. Okay, that is the catabolism and the anabolism. So metabolism, it is a basic life process. So the second basic life process, that is responsiveness. So what responsiveness means? Responsiveness, it means the ability, it is the body's ability to detect and respond to the change. Detect and respond. So these are two things which are included in the responsiveness. So ability of the body to detect, to respond to the change in its internal or external environment. So there will be different changes either in the internal environment of the body, either in the external environment in the body. For example, you are sitting and you are feeling hot, so your body will detect the change and then it will respond to that change by cooling down, by sweating. So your body will cool down. So that is responsiveness. So it is a basic life process. So where you will detect, your body will detect and your body will respond to the change. Those changes can be either in the internal environment or these changes can be in the external environment. So that we will call it as responsiveness. For example, I gave you the example, decrease in the body temperature. Okay, internal temperature, then the body will do, for example, vasodilation. Okay, so third important basic life process, that is movement. Movement means motion of the whole body. It can be individual organ, it can be motion of the single cell, because single cells, they travel from one place to another place inside your bloodstream, and even the tiny structures which are present inside the cell. So you have a cell, inside cell there are various tiny structures which are present. They can move inside the cytosol. That's also called as the movement. So that is also a basic life process. So now next one is growth. So growth is also a basic life process. Growth means increase in the body size, or increase in size of the existing cell, or increase in the number of cells, increase in number of cells, or increase in size of existing cell, or increase in body size. So increase in body size, or increase in the size of existing cell, or increase in number of cells, or these both. So that will be called as growth. So it is an important basic life process. Okay. So after growth, next one is, fifth one is, that is differentiation. So differentiation means when the unspecialized cell is converted into the specialized cell. So you have unspecialized cell, it is converted into the specialized cell. For example, I will give you the example of the RBCs. So erythroblast, it is an immature cell, or it is an unspecialized cell. It gets developed into red blood cell, which is a specialized cell by the process of homopoiesis, which we will be studying later. So erythroblast into the RBC. So erythroblast, it is an unspecialized cell. It will be converted into a specialized cell. Specialized cell here is red blood cell. Okay, so that is called as the differentiation, or we can say it is a process of it is a process where the cell undergoes a change to develop from unspecialized form to a specialized form. For example, another example, for example, ovum, it gets converted into embryo, then embryo into fetus, then fetus into infant, then infant into child, then child into adult. So see, here it was an unspecialized cell, and here in adult there are the specialized cells. So that we will call it as differentiation. So it is also an important basic life process. And last one, sixth, is reproduction. So in humans, reproduction is of sexual type. It is a sexual reproduction. So reproduction means formation of the new cells or the production of the new individual. So it is important for our body. Reproduction is important to carry on the progeny. Okay, so it is an important life process. So these were the basic life processes. Now we will go to the next thing, that is systems of the human body. Systems of human body or human body systems. Okay, so there are different systems in the human body, like I already explained to you. There are different levels, like chemical level, then there is cellular level, then there is tissue level, then there is organ level, then there is system level. So here the different systems of the human body, which we will be going to study in the future classes. Like for example, first is integumentary system, where we will be studying about integumentary system. We will be studying about the skin and its accessory glands. Okay, second one is muscular system. We will be studying about different muscles which are present in the human body. Then there is skeletal system, where we will be studying about the bones, like axial skeletal, appendicular skeletal. We will be studying about the skeletal system. Then nervous system, where we will be studying about neurons, where we will be studying about the brain, where we will be studying about the spinal cord. Then next system is, fifth one is endocrine system, where we will be studying about the endocrine glands. Okay, endocrine glands, which are also called as ductless glands, which they put their secretions directly into the blood, without any ducts. So they are ductless. Okay, exocrine glands are ducted glands. So exocrine glands we will study in the integumentary system. Okay, then there is sixth one, cardiovascular system, where we will be studying about the heart, where we will be studying about the blood vessels. Then there is lymphatic system, where we will be studying about the lymph. Okay, then there is lymph nodes. Okay, spleen. Then there is respiratory system, where we will be studying about the lungs, where we will be studying about the breathing and all, exchange of the gases. Okay, then there is digestive system, which includes mouth, which includes esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine. Okay, then there is urinary system, whose main organs are urinary system, like we will study about the kidneys, urinary bladder, urethra. Then there is reproductive system, where we will be studying about the human, like male reproductive system and female reproductive system. So the main organs which are included with everyone in integumentary system, like skin, muscular system, we will be studying about the different muscles, smooth muscle, cardiac muscles, okay, skeletal muscles. And in skeletal system we will be studying about the bones, 206 bones, axial skeletal, appendicular skeletal. In nervous system we will be studying about the brain and the spinal cord. Endocrine system, about the various endocrine glands. Cardiovascular system, we will be studying about the heart plus blood vessels. Lymphatic system, where we will be studying about the lymph. Respiratory system, where we will be studying about the lungs mainly. Digestive system, stomach, small intestines, large intestines, the process of digestion. Urinary system, kidneys, and the process of the urine formation. And reproductive system, male and female reproductive system. So that was the introduction of the human anatomy and physiology. With this I will be ending this lecture number first. Thank you.